Well, hello.
Hello,
How's it
welcome.
going? Thanks.
We're doing June, aren't we?
We are doing June.
Yeah.
Yeah. So watch the new June.
Mhm.
I watched it at home. So apparently in the US it's on streaming on HBO or something like that.
I think it's in theatres as well, but it's only in
In theatres
theatres
as
in
well. Yeah.
England. Yeah.
Exactly. So I watched it on HBO in my home in the United States.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, a couple of days ago.
Yeah. Well, we're both big fans of June.
Yeah, we
we've
talked
both
about it a lot.
we've both read the books and got the David Lynch film. Seen that like a few times.
Billions. Yeah.
And I really like the movie. Obviously, it took a few liberties, but everyone says it's like the most impossible movie to make because it's so epic. The books, and there's so much going on.
Yeah.
And to get all of that across in a way that's coherent on film it's proven to be quite difficult, isn't it? So
That's very true. Yeah.
but I think I like this one. I like June, the new version. I thought it was beautiful. I like some of the scenes, like the cinematography is spot on. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I had the sense of the desert being this like powerful, brutal, beautiful place. In a bit with all a bit mysterious, what the spice and all the rest of it. Caladan, because I always got the sense of Caladan being like a perpetually raining planet because it's like a water based planet, isn't it?
Yeah.
Caladan. I
I
didn't
think that's
quite.
what. Yeah, they pretty much did that in the original June, the David Lynch one, wasn't it? Caladan was just, it was always nighttime as well. It was just like it just seemed really dark everywhere. Everything was really really dark on Caladan. It was just pissing down, and it was nighttime the whole time. But it was like powerful,
Ocean, yeah, ocean
elemental
planet.
sort of But yeah, this was more like a sort of, well, I don't know, just a sort of very Earth-like sort of planet, not particularly sort of,
Stands out in any way.
green and fertile or lush or
Yeah,
anything like that. Still look kind of stark,
yeah,
if you like, sort of
yeah.
rocky.
Blues and greens, yeah.
Mm.
And I really liked the inclusion of the hand signals from the Bene Gesserits.
Yeah, yeah,
That
that
was
was cool.
great because
That
that's
was
in
one
the
of the
book.
first things. Yeah,
Yeah, also it was in the mini-series as well. I actually really
that's
like the
good.
mini-series because I think
Yeah,
David Lynch, where Jessica's kind of like this, well, she's just like a pregnant concubine, and she's, you know what I mean? She just sort of, but like in the mini-series, she does the wielding way, and she
yeah,
moves so fast, and she's got all of these Bene Gesserit skills like the hand signals and all of that stuff, and she does beat Stilgar, but you don't see that in David Lynch.
she does. I mean, she sort of fights him, but like, it's a bit of a weird. I mean, it's strange because it was almost the same in this one. Really, they have a fight, and she bests Stilgar,
That's
and that's
him.
sort of it.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, okay, then you can stay." You know,
Hmm.
but yeah. I mean, again, the miniseries, it showed. Yeah, you're right. Actually, in the David Lynch one, there was nothing about the Bene Gesserit. They were just like a bunch of nuns,
Mm.
But like there's more to them. They're more like fucking witches,
Well, this is
and
it. The witch,
and
like,
they're yeah they're
yeah,
manipulating everything behind the scenes. Like, and they she even
for
says
for
in
thousands of
this, yeah,
years.
she even says, is it Lady Mohayam or something, says, our plans are deal in centuries. They've been sort of mucking around for ages. But that was really good. Yeah, you're right. The hand signals and things. So there's much more to her,
Than just
than
this
you think.
gorgeous lady who's trapped in the desert and is a little bit pregnant, and the son might be the
Yeah,
Kwisatz Haderach. But yeah,
yeah.
um,
So I thought that was good.
yeah, and I liked, so I like the fact that she can fight and she's got the hand signals. There's just a lot, and also that they've seemed to have brought into this one more the politics, whereas like the Bene Gesserit thing and the David Lynch things, that they were quite benign. I mean, apart from the Emperor's Bene Gesserit, which who seems fairly full on, you know, when they test him with the bomb cigar, like you think, God, that is
really
harsh.
But it's only they sort of don't even really feature that much in it, do they? I mean, I think they'll maybe feature more in the later movies of this one or something, because in the David Lynch there's only her and Jessica herself, and then there's one on June.
That's right.
Who dies, isn't it, on June, and then she replaces her and stuff like that. Obviously, in this one, they set up quite early on in the beginning after she tests him with the Gonja bar, which I thought was a good scene. But she says we've laid a path for him on June, you know,
and that happens in the book.
Yeah, exactly. So they already have a presence there, and they have done for hundreds of years in order to set things up so that if the chosen one does come, there's something there, because there's already a fucking Bene Gesserit culture there that they've instilled within the Fremen. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, they're pissing around with everything.
I mean, as an order, they are probably more powerful than the Atreides, and
because they're everywhere, and
they're just messing about with people's, like they arrange marriages through the centuries to try and get the is that say that word, is that Sadarak?
The Kwisatz Haderach.
Kwisatz Haderach.
So manipulating cultures, literally, changing cultures, like the whole Fremen thing. You kind of feel sorry for the Fremen, really, because they're just sort of
I think
fucked over by everyone.
Well, this is it.
Mainly by the Bene Gesserit, and obviously then the Empire's just using.
They're just a tool. That's what
workers,
they are.
Yeah.
Because they're they've been fed this prophecy about the Kwisatz Haderach, and
by the Bene Gesserits.
The Bene Gesserits, and so they're looking for the signs he can wear the still suit without being told how to wear it, and other things. But plus his visions are more prevalent in this one.
That's true.
He had them before he encountered the spice this time, whereas in Lynch, he took Melange to and then to see what it was like, kind of thing, and then he had a vision then. But he's already got the visions in him, sort of latent, waiting to be reacted.
That was one of the interesting things, I think, for me in this one. There was sort of like two major things that maybe three that stood out, and one was when he first starts doing the voice.
So
there's a really good scene right at the beginning where she's like, do the voice, which sort of comes out of nowhere. Do you know what I mean? Do the voice. And he's like, oh, I'm too tired. And then he does it, and she's like, try again. And they do it really differently, like, because in the David Lynch, it's like, untie our bonds. It's sort of like that. But it's really sort of quite creepy the way it does it in this one. He says, pass me the water, but his lips don't move, but there's no sound. His lips move and there's no sound, and you just hear this sort of really quiet noise, and it's really quite creepy. And then the voice comes delayed, and it's like 2 or 3 different voices, male and female, saying, pass me the water. And I would be interested to know who those voices were, because, again, with the Bene Gesserit sort of ancestry thing, he has all these ancestors, doesn't he? Even the spoilers, the Baron, stuff like that. So I'll be interested if those voices actually belong to anyone. But yeah, it was really weird. He just goes, and you just see like a wind chime in the background, sort of very slowly move, like, and you symbolic of like something really powerful was happening. So that was good.
Yeah.
But you were talking about the visions. There's a great. It's sort of about his like the prescience. So there's a bit. He's in the desert. I think he has a vision, and it's him, and he's living among the Fremen.
That's
and
right.
He has a friend. Yeah. He has a friend called Jamis, which is close to my name.
Yeah.
And then later on, and he's like traveling with this guy, and this guy says, "I'll show you the ways of the Fremen." This is all in his mind, and then they finally catch up with the Fremen. This guy's there, and in the end, he fights Paul, and Paul kills him.
Yeah.
So it's like that was really interesting, because like he had this vision of the future and he changed it, like, because that vision just can't come to pass because he killed the guy. It was
there was a Bene
really
Gesserit voice saying that you must kill him.
Was there? Oh,
yeah.
I didn't even see that bit. But
yeah. So when they first meet the Fremen, isn't it? And then he says, "Oh, we'll need to keep him because he's a Duke, but the woman's too old to learn our ways," or kind of thing. Then she blah blah blah. But then the other guy says, "Hang on a minute, you know what I mean?"
He goes, "No, we're not having this."
Yeah. And I invoke the whatever it was rule to challenge her because she's overtaken you. So what champion has she got? And then he gets to fight Paul, and then he kills. Yeah. He did have the choice not to kill him, but you could see the man himself was like, "Don't let me live," because it's you know what I mean. As a warrior,
shame.
It just you've bested me several times now.
That's
just
what
kill
I thought.
Me.
Yeah, I just thought that was really good because like it that kind of again is prescient of sort of what happens in later of the story, because Paul has this sort of, so he, spoilers, right? Fucking hell. But like he gains the sort of power to see the future and the past. He sees it all and stuff like that. But obviously there's more to it, because like the visions he has for the future, they don't always come to pass because he can change them. So he can see possibilities, and that was really interesting. That was like one possibility. So there was one future where he was friends with this guy.
Yeah.
But it just never happened, and he didn't really have a choice. The guy challenged him. He had no choice, really. He had to kill him. So it's kind of this conflict. It shows up this, and it's the thing that later on in the story of Paul, which makes him sort of, he's unhappy with the whole thing, because he's like, even though he has the power of foresight, he feels like he has no choice in anything. Yeah.
And also, like he says in the tent to his mum, "You've made me a fucking freak. You've been a Jesuit witches. You've just, you've been engineering this all this time." Well, yeah. And now, he's having visions. He's, he's got a Bene Gesserit training. He's a fucking freak. Do you know what I mean?
I thought it was good because you kind of, and again, it sort of happens in the Lynch version and and in the book, is you kind of see him mature, like from a boy to a man is probably not the right word, but like a leader, or something.
It looks
different.
Like a messiah. It's a messiah, really. Yeah.
But it just happens in these massive leaps before your eyes, and you even his mum is scared of him, to an extent, that because like even when she does the thing with the voice, and he does it, and she's just overwhelmed. He goes, "Pass me, pass me the water," and she's like, "Whoa!" Her reaction is like, "Whoa, fuck!" And then she's like, "Oh," pretending he didn't really do it. And then he, when he shouts at her in the tent, and he uses the voice like he doesn't even mean to do it.
No,
he's just like,
"Get
"You
away
did this
from
to
me." And
she's just
propelled backwards. Not only is her own actions just like, "Yeah, I'll leave you alone," but it's kind of like there's a force as well that's pushing her away. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's not only her own choice to move away, but like the force of that command has got a force in, like in physics, and it's moved her away.
And I think that was, because she looked scared because like he did that out of anger. He shouted out of anger, and obviously that's like, fuck. If he's got that, if he loses control and has this sort of power over men and women, that's really dangerous. So as well as that being absolutely terrifying, that someone could have this power, it's her son, totally changing before our eyes. And then even, there's a bit when they talk about, I think he's with Liet Kynes, and they're trying to escape, I think. And he was saying about, he mentions maybe like, what is it with the Emperor's daughter? He's like, maybe I could make a.
Yeah, he's already bringing that up. Yeah, like political.
A political marriage.
Yeah,
He brings that out of fucking nowhere, And she's like, "What? You're making a play for the throne?" You know, it's like he's literally like all of us. You know, he's a young boy, and then all of a sudden he's making a play for the emperor of the known universe, and
Yeah.
like out of nowhere, and he's just like, "Well, yeah, sort of," you know. And you're just like, what the fuck? Who is this guy? You know, he just literally just sort of like changing before your eyes. I thought he was really good in those
I liked
respects. You
all the
know,
actors. I thought they were, yeah, they were.
I liked him a lot. I
Mm,
thought he was much better because I'm very wary of sort of young, pretty people because I'm old and ugly now. But and actors like he's a very
you're
big
not
name.
ugly.
Do you know? Thank you, chicken. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm sort of young celebrity culture. Do you know what I mean? When they have these young celebrity people who they just kind of play themselves. So I was a bit worried about that, but that's just my sort of prejudice, I suppose. Against
No, I thought
sort
he
of.
was
I
good.
don't know what I'm trying to talk about, but he was really good. The
Yeah.
one thing I liked is when they do the Gonja Bar scene, which is obviously fantastic in the Lynch version as well.
Mm,
And even in that, you see Carl McLaughlin's Paul mature very, very quickly.
mm,
Where he's like, because at one point he's screaming like a child because of the pain. He's got his hand in the box, and the next he's like, "I see the truth of it." He says that
yeah.
in the David Lynch version, and it's like an instant maturity. He's like, "Okay, yeah, he gets it," and
Mm,
that was sort of you can see that much more in this version because he's got his hand in the box, and then he's like, "Oh, that's hot," and then he's
yeah.
like, "Oh no, that is really hot." And then he just sort of he does this whimper. He literally whimpers in pain. He's sort of like, and he goes, "No," like, and it's like, and then you sort of see him. His mum starts doing the litany, doesn't she?
Yeah.
I will
The
not fear, fear is the mind killer, and
Angular. Yeah.
whether that influences him or not, but he starts. You can see him. He remembers because she's been training him. And then
Mm,
there's this sort of like not defiance with him, not defiance maybe, but he's just looking her in the eyes, and then she stops because it's quite obvious that you know he's not an animal.
no.
So I thought he was really good actually.
Yeah.
I thought yeah.
Gurney, I wasn't too like. I didn't really get him as Gurney.
No, no. Again, I didn't really understand why they picked him. I mean, I
No.
like Josh Brolin, but
Yeah.
he wasn't. He wasn't. Yeah, there's quite a lot of the ancillary, not ancillary characters, but like Thufir, and even Doctor Yue, just not really, not really
Although I
there
did
that
like it when he was
much.
speaking Chinese to Paul just before he goes into John. You know what I mean? But like, I think
Yeah,
these are kind of like you don't want to spend too much time with these characters because you know they're
I
going to die.
suppose. I
Um,
suppose. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's weird because again, we're constantly referring to the David Lynch one, but I don't think it's possible for me in my head to take them apart.
no.
But like Doctor Yue in that one was a really good character.
Mm. Yeah,
He
you
was
felt
quite
for him.
important
Yeah.
because you needed to sort of know what was going on because he fucked them all. He
Yeah.
single-handedly fucked the entire fucking House of Trades because of his wife.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Because they the Baron
And she was
killed
already
fucking.
dead.
He's already dead. Yeah, he's just like,
Yeah.
why would you even trust that guy
Someone
even the
like, yeah.
slightest? Yeah,
Yeah. Like the
but
Harkonnens. I mean, forget it. I mean, they're just like walking
yeah,
demons, aren't they? They're not.
it's just horrible. Yeah,
Yeah, they're just brutal, horrible, yeah,
yeah.
things. Yeah.
So I wasn't. But yeah, so
Yeah.
a lot of those could have been, but maybe the Thufir and that will pop up again. Even the fighter Debris is really not really sort of. He was the Brad Dourif character in the first one. Doesn't really show up, and then he dies. He really doesn't.
Mm.
But then does he die? It's strange. He does like a weird winking thing later on in that June movie. I think it's when they're on the Sardaukar planet,
Okay.
Sala Secundus or something, which I thought was quite cool because there's all the troops sort of like training and stuff, and there's some geezer doing the Mongolian throat singing, and it's just they're all fucking mental. And Piter's on there, and he does this weird thing with his eyes.
Isn't that when they calculate stuff because he's a mentat?
Yeah, yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, exactly, the mentat. So, but it was interesting because a lot of the stuff in in the other books as well. There's a talk about these people called the face dancers as well, isn't there? And these people who can rearrange
Oh,
their faces and stuff. And I just thought of that when he did the weird eye thing, but I don't think that's
oh,
it's a
you never
mentat,
know.
isn't
You
it?
don't. You don't
Yeah,
know because they're going to have to
can't
bring
remember.
Duncan back
Yeah,
because
so Duncan sort of comes a cropper, doesn't he? He does all right, really, but
yeah, he was all right. I
yeah.
bought him as Duncan.
Yeah, he wasn't bad.
Yeah,
I thought, yeah, he was better than I thought he was going to be. I
yeah,
quite like the shields and stuff. You know, the
yeah,
shields are sort of like, because you can kind of tell when they're getting hurt because they go red.
yeah. That's
And like, yeah, it's kind of like once, and even when Duke Leto gets shot, you know, with some bolt or something like that, you can see this thing sort of slowly going in, and you're like, fuck, you can't even pull it out because it's going in. It's sort of like, it's almost like they slow down time or
physics.
those shields, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah,
And so like once it's going in, even though it
it's
hasn't gone
going
in, it
in.
still goes in. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was kind of fucked up.
Mm.
So there was a lot to like about it. I didn't really, I don't really like the woman who played Shani. I thought she was sort of very blank. Although, because she
Mm.
kept featuring in every single vision of his, and like obviously
Mm.
she's sort of an important character, but like I thought she was very much sort of, hello, it's
Well,
me, I'm
I mean,
Zendaya.
he's only just met her, so do you know what I mean? She
Yeah,
hasn't had a lot to do so far, and even in the books,
no,
really. I mean, she's the love of his life, but
yeah,
you know what I mean. She kind of gets sort of pushed aside, doesn't she, later on?
mm,
Um, but he does
absolutely for
always
the
love her. So
yeah,
yeah, they've
exactly. So
only
I'm
just
hoping.
met, really.
I think,
So
I mean, to be honest, even in the David Lynch version, they had Sean Young playing her, and I like Sean Young. She was great in Blade Runner, but I thought she was fucking terrible as Shani in the David Lynch.
maybe they
She was
just don't know
just
what to
crap.
do with her because she's basically a
I think
love
she's just
interest.
a love interest, a tough freedom fighter thing. And I thought, they like sort of actors, sort of young sort of actors like that, who are sort of, defiant, man. But I thought it was just, it was just sort of a bit boring. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean? But
yeah, she
I
didn't have a
thought,
lot to do really.
no, I kind of liked Javier Bardem. I kind of liked, he was all right as still guy, I thought,
Yeah, I
you
liked
know,
him. Yeah,
yeah, he was good. Um,
I like the way he's just kind of like, You know what I
yeah,
mean?
he's just
He's
not
really
bothered,
just,
is he?
yeah, it's just dismissive. I think the
Exactly.
French accent works.
Spanish, isn't he?
Oh, is he Spanish? Blimey.
Yeah. Married to Penelope Cruz.
Ah, yeah, of course he is. Yeah, yeah.
So
So
there
yeah,
was
but
a
the
lot.
accent works,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. I thought the only thing. I mean, I was quite surprised it ended where it did. I thought there would be more to it. I mean,
Yeah, me
if there
too.
was if there's any disappointment in the movie, it's like, oh, for fuck's sake! Even the David Lynch version got further than this.
Yeah,
You know,
I was kind
it's
of
like,
hoping for the whole sort of
yeah,
like building the army and then going kicking ass later on,
yeah.
but
It's
I,
sort of it
I
kind
hope
of
they
it's a
get the
funny.
money for the second part. That's what I
It's
hope
kind of a
for.
funny place. Yeah, it's a funny place to stop, wasn't it? Because it was
Yeah,
like, I mean, again, it's like, I read something and it said that June is going to be this generation's Lord of the Rings,
you're right.
right? So it's like, you're going to get these blockbuster movies and they're going to keep coming out, and then you're going to get three, and it's going to be amazing. Which Lord of the Rings was? That was a weird noise. What was that?
It was my phone. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. I thought you were doing the voice on me. Stop
Yeah,
talking.
yeah, yeah. Can I
I
go
forgot what
now?
I was talking about now. Fucking hell, well done.
No, you were talking about the
Playing
fact that the
tricks on
movie
me.
didn't get that far.
Yeah, I think, but yeah, oh yes, so sort of like the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. I'm just trying to think where that movie ends, but it's sort of like it's the end of the beginning. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, now he's with the Fremen, and sort yeah, I do think it's sort of. Disappointed is not the right word. I kind of wanted a bit more.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
there.
But that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Because the movie
So
itself's like 2.5 hours long, and if you want a bit more
yeah.
after that, you know,
Well,
it's been well done.
it's strange because I might find you know, I might watch it again because I I looked at the Mark Commode and Simon Mayo review yesterday,
Oh yeah, yeah.
um, and he said something which I thought was very, you know, which is sort of I felt as well, is that 2.5 hours went really quickly.
Yeah, totally
Like
did. Yeah.
it wasn't boring at all, you know, and
Mm.
that's very very true because a lot of those movies is just, oh, for God's sake, you know, it's a long time. I mean, I'm quite happy to sit through long movies. I've got no problem, but like, you know, some of them they are a trial. But yeah,
Mm.
that thing just went. Whew. It
Yeah,
was
it was
just
really well
there was
done. Yeah.
there was a lot to like about it.
Mm.
I think there wasn't anything super, you know,
The
it wasn't
worms.
the worms. Yeah,
Yeah, they got them down to a T because, like, in the Lynch one, you think, wow, they are pretty big, but this
yeah,
one, they're just
yeah.
ginormous. They're absolutely massive. You just
It
can't
was,
conceive of how large they are. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's
yeah,
400
absolutely.
meters long. Yeah, they
They
really
were a
got
bit.
that down.
They were scary. Yeah, as well. Freaking
Mm.
scary. All that shit. You know, all those fucking teeth and that.
Oh, and I like the way
Um,
the floor sort of went liquid when they were around because, you
yes,
know,
it's.
in earthquakes, solid solid floor can
Oh
actually
yeah,
act like a liquid because of the
exactly. Yeah,
vibration.
can't remember what you call that. No, it's not like
Um,
pyroclastic flow, is it, or something? It might be something
no,
like that. Can't remember. Yeah, I know what you mean though. Yeah, it just basically vibrates to the point where there's
yeah,
nothing you can
it
do.
like a solid mass acts like a liquid, and I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
sand small, you know, but
yeah,
I like that. I like the effect because it was like, you know, you couldn't even stand up right because the things come in, you know, and trying to
yeah.
run away from it. And yeah, it was good. I like the worms. Yeah, I liked a lot about it. Yeah.
I did. Yeah, I sort of. It's strange. A lot. I don't know if it's because I watched it on my TV. I think I would be good to see. You know, good to see it on the cinema. I kind of wish I had done it first, but a lot of some of the miniatures, some of the like ornithopter things, and even
Mm,
the cityscape and stuff kind of looked miniaturey to me. But I
mm,
got a feeling that was just because I'm watching it on the small screen. Um, that was one of the things I was like, oh, that looks like a model. Yeah,
mm,
you know. But I got a feeling that was just maybe the format of the thing I watched it on.
mm.
But I like the ornithopters as well. They
Yeah,
were kind of
the
cool
ships are good.
because
Yeah.
I kind of think, oh, for God's sake, you're not gonna. What kind of a fucking ship, you know, has something that actually flaps? It's just kind of stupid. You wouldn't have it, would you? Really? But like it kind of. I think there's a
Once it
sort of
was,
yeah, there's a leap in technology, isn't it? Because like a
yeah.
lot of their ships, and even in David Lynch one, a lot of their ships they're just like boxes. There's
Mm,
nothing aerodynamic about them
mm.
because the technology it just doesn't.
It'd have to be
It's
anti-grav
so
or
in it.
something.
It's yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The technology is so advanced that it doesn't matter if the things are aerodynamic. They could be any shape they bloody want,
Mm,
you know. So a lot of them are quite decorative. But I thought they were cool. They were sort of like
mm.
wasps,
Really
sort of
maneuverable. Yeah.
yeah, and like the sort of was really
Yeah,
really
like a
good.
bee's wing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I sort of
Mm.
liked a lot of that.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much all I've got to say about it, really. Go and watch it. I just
Well,
hope
definitely,
that we get
yeah.
another one.
Well, yeah. I mean, there will be another one. Apparently, it's. I mean, you know, I saw. I know Denis Villeneuve said it wasn't a given. You know
No.
what I mean? Which is kind of incredible, really. You know
Yeah.
that they're not going to make. You know, there's the possibility it wouldn't happen
It's a
if it
really
wasn't going
good
to be
start.
successful.
It's,
I think it's
yeah.
great, and I think he's the right person to do it.
Yeah.
In a way, it was kind of, in a way, it was sort of not understated, but like he's been very faithful, and apparently he was a big fan of the book when he was a child,
Mm.
so he's always thought about it, and I think he's the right person to do it
Mm.
because you know he's done you know things like oh good lord, what was the last thing? Blade Runner 2049 he did. So it
Yeah, he
shows
was
that he
quite.
can do.
He was faithful to that as well.
He was faithful to that. So it wasn't like a big spaceship explosion-y type space
Yeah.
opera thing. It was kind of just it was very grounded. You know,
D-
it's obviously.
The only thing else I noticed really was I think they might have used a few chords from the Toto music. You know, the Toto did.
I thought that as well.
You know,
That,
Toto did the music for June,
yeah,
David Lynch's June, but there was a couple
they
of
did. Yeah,
there was a couple of chords there, and it was like
yeah,
the strings and an orchestra, a couple of chords of that, but like it was kind of like the
yeah.
majestic chords that they'd used. I
I
mean,
wondered.
it's written by,
Yeah,
but I wonder if
it's
they
by
had a
Hans
word
Zimmer,
with
isn't it?
Toto and said, "Can we just use a couple of these licks?" Because
I don't. You know, it's weird because I thought that because there's some wonderful moments in the Dune score, the David Lynch one, like musically. There's this sort of wonderful clanging guitars, you know, this
yeah,
bang sort of very 80s sort of
yeah,
shit
yeah.
going on, you know, that I really
But
fucking
it
like.
worked.
But
It
yeah, but
totally worked.
I thought the same, and there was exactly a point, and I can't think when it was
There
in
was
the
one in
new
the
ones.
tent. I think there was definitely one in the tent when he
Maybe.
told his mum to F off. And then he was kind of coming to the realization that he was this like, he'd been put to this point where now he's got to be this messiah and God emperor to everybody. And it was just so
Yeah.
fucking overwhelming. Do you know what I mean? But then he was getting used to it real quick. And then there was a couple of
Yeah.
chords that were like strings, like cellos and violins.
Yeah.
And I just thought, oh yeah, that sounds a little bit like the Toto stuff, but
I'm
like
going
it
to,
totally works, and the music
yeah, yeah,
in the original worked as well. Um,
very
but
much so,
obviously
yeah.
they've modernised it a little bit. But yeah, I thought, oh, that's good because those chords really said desert, Messiah, overwhelming responsibility coming my way, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I
No,
don't know. Yeah,
absolutely, yeah. Do
yeah,
you know, it's weird. I'm glad you said that because I did notice that at the time, you know, like, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's just like the bow, now, now, now. There's some sort of
yeah,
really good
yeah.
epic sort of, there's a
The
wonderful, I mean,
orchestral thing. Yeah,
yeah, in the David Lynch song, they have a wonderful song by Toto at the end, which is really sort of, it kind of doesn't really, it's not that it doesn't fit, it's just a fucking really kind of really nice, lovely sort of song. Um, and there's some wonderful chords in that I did, yeah, I thought the same thing. And I thought strangely, there was a lot in this movie that was very, very like the David Lynch version. Like, and I was thinking about that while I was watching it, and it's like, is that because that's the book? You know, he's being faithful to the book, and actually, I think maybe that David Lynch was more faithful to the book than people give him credit for. So
yeah.
that's why they're so similar, because it could have gone very different. You know, because David Lynch's version gets a lot of bad press, you know, but I love it. You love
I
it,
love it. Yeah, I think it's great. Yeah.
But I think, and he obviously did some weird fucking things with it. But like a lot of it is very like the book, you know. So even like a lot of when they go to Arrakis and they take over the sort of the palace, whatever the palace is on Arrakis, the interior of those buildings was just like the David Lynch thing. It was this sort of kind of reddish brick thing. Obviously, that's what Arrakis is made of and stuff like that. So, but it kind of
Sandstone.
had that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It had that same kind of look to it. A lot of it. I thought, this is just like the thing. But I think, basically that's because they are both pretty faithful to the book.
Yeah, the still suits.
Yeah, David Lynch took a lot of liberties, obviously.
Jesuits. Yeah.
But yeah, so I was really impressed.
I really liked it. I think it was very good. I might go and watch it again, like you say.
Yeah, I'd love to see it again, but I'd love to definitely, it's going to be when are we going to get the second part? That's going to be a long time coming, and it's just a lot more time for us to sort of
probably next year,
pick
maybe
apart the first one. Yeah, but then how far are they going to get with this one?
Well, they might try and bring it out every Christmas like they did with the Harry Potters.
Oh God, yeah, they might do. I don't know. I think it would be good to get a second one in as soon as possible because
absolutely, because it gets really exciting. So,
exactly, and I'm just wondering how far they're going to go, because we could really do with
Children of June.
this, yeah, at least, definitely moving past the David Lynch, which is a wonderful place to end. But that's the beginning. We talked about this when we talked about the other one. It's like the end of David Lynch, when he's pretty much taken over the fucking known universe sort of thing. But it's just the start. It all happens on Arrakis, and he fucks the Emperor.
Yeah, there's so much more to it.
That's the beginning of the story, of the main sort of story. Like that all the big important stuff happens after that. So it would be nice if we get past that a little bit. I'd rather, if it just ends with him being crowned emperor and that's it, I should be like, oh God, now what are we going to do? We're going to have to wait 30 years for like Disney to fucking do like like it's the same with like Star Wars, the original
I think
trilogy,
this is going to be I think it's going to be very successful, and the execs, at Metro, whatever, they're going to throw money at it because they know they're going to get it back. Yeah. I honestly think that this is, like people said, it's going to be like the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I hope so, because it's sort of,
it deserves it. It's such a good story.
Yeah, and it's good watching a story that so many movies now are sort of about current events, like what's going on in the world we live in right now, right? And we're all just sick of it, It's just nice to have some sort of what could be, in a future that is so far removed from ours, although not that much. It's still all about war and politics and shit like that. But it's escapism, for a change, rather
that's what
than
we need.
Just exactly, a little bit, taking humanity, putting them in different situations and seeing what they do, and, which is what science fiction is all about, isn't it? I thought I was very impressed. I'm definitely looking forward to the second part, and I'll definitely watch that movie again.
What should we do next week?
I'm intrigued by the soundtrack thing now. I'm gonna have to try and find that.
I think it was in the tent.
Hans Zimmer. Yeah.
I think there was a bit of I noticed it before, but there was a bit when they were in a tent, and there was a couple of chords there that I thought were like, oh, that sounds like Toto. But should we leave it there then, and we'll come back and do another one? Yeah.
So have you watched anything else this week?
I watched it on. I really liked it actually. The second
chapter
one.
2. Oh yeah,
chapter
I can't remember. I have seen it, but I don't remember much.
Let's do that next time.
The first one was really good. Yeah. Okay. I'll stick that on.
See you next time.
I also watched as well. Halloween Kills, the latest Halloween movie.
Yeah, I don't know if I fancy that.
Do you know what? It was quite entertaining. if you see, because there was one come out 2 years ago, which sort of followed on from the original movie. So it's got Jamie Lee Curtis and that in it,
and
it was a bit. Oh, for God's sake! But this one,
I'm kind of over it.
I kind of am. But there's one more after this, and then that's it. Apparently, that is definitely the end.
Oh, they say that though. They're going to milk that cow till it.
But it wasn't bad,
Dies of milking.
I think I texted you, didn't I? I said this movie's been on for 20 minutes and he's killed 15 people already.
It's almost like one a minute.
It is pretty. There's a very sort of 80s slasher feel to it. It's actually much more entertaining than I thought it'd be. Be worth a watch.
Be
worth a watch.
We'll decide anyway. Whatever the next one. I wouldn't mind doing a horror because obviously it's October. So we should do that.
Fucking Halloween. Well, Halloween. There we go.
See you next time.
Right, see you next time. Bye.